Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so imagine this. We've literally just walked out of the Sunday service at Agape Community Church, in Pewaukee.
Yeah, that feeling.
Right. And the air's kind of still buzzing from Pastor Florin's message.
Yeah.
He was continuing his series, The Roles of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And today was all about Jesus as the Son of David, pulling from Zechariah's song.
That was powerful stuff.
Yeah, and for anyone maybe less familiar, Son of David, it's this huge biblical idea, right? This promised king from David's line.
The Messiah, yeah. Expected to bring salvation, justice, all of that.
Exactly. And Zechariah's song, or the Benedictus, it's that prophetic bit in Luke where John the Baptist's dad basically foretells this arrival.
It's just a beautiful language in that song.
Totally. So look, our mission today isn't just to, rehash the sermon point by point.
Right.
We want to dig into what it actually means to live this stuff out.
Right.
Practically. Almost like an apprenticeship with Jesus.
I like that framing, an apprenticeship.
Yeah, because navigating today's world, it's noisy. There's so much pressure. Everyone's looking for meaning. It feels really important to connect these big ideas to, our Tuesday afternoons,
Absolutely. And Pastor Florin really leaned into that, didn't he? He highlighted how poetic Zechariah's song is, how it helps us grasp truths that are hard to explain otherwise.
Like the science models analogy he used.
Exactly like that. Visualizing the unseen. But, and this is key, he didn't just leave it as poetry. He brought it right down to earth. How these, eternal truths apply right now, especially when you feel stuck or overwhelmed or just kind of lost.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Because he talked about Jesus as this promised mighty king, this horn of salvation. Not just some historical figure, but someone who deals with our, deepest hidden struggles.
Right, the things we don't always see or admit.
Which brings us to that really intense image he used. Humanity trapped in a lowest dungeon.
Ooh, yeah. Solitary confinement. Facing imminent death because of sin. That's heavy.
It is heavy. But I want to ask you, listening right now, what is that stark picture, being in a dark pit? What does that really mean for you today in your life?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because it connects directly to something very real, very practical, especially, I think, for younger people today.
How so?
Well, Pastor Florin put it bluntly. Many people self-medicate against the reality of the depravity of their own soul.
Okay, depravity of the soul. That sounds pretty churchy. Break that down practically.
Yeah, okay, practically. It's that deep ache inside, that feeling of something being wrong or broken or just empty. And we try so hard to numb it or ignore it.
So self-medicate isn't just like drugs or alcohol.
Not at all. He was talking way broader. It could be endless scrolling, binge watching, chasing likes, always needing to be busy, buying stuff. Anything to avoid sitting still and facing what's actually going on inside.
Avoiding introspection.
Exactly. And then there's the flip side he mentioned, getting comfortable.
Yeah.
The material blessings and personal comforts that make us not want to spoil their mojo.
Right. Things are good. Why rock the boat?
Yeah. We put on those rose-colored glasses he talked about. Everything looks fine, maybe even great on the surface. But underneath, there's this spiritual void, this disconnect we're papering over.
It's like those questions he asked. They were really pointed.
Weren't they just, what is your trap? What keeps you in bondage?
What rose-colored glasses are you wearing?
God,
that you don't see your situation. And that killer one, what self-medication are you administering? And what distractions do you surround yourself with?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It forces you to think beyond just, ancient ideas of sin. It's about finding your specific dungeon, the things you use to hide or cope, the internal battles we all fight, often silently. It really does make you pause, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's challenging. But thankfully, he didn't just leave us there in the dark.
No, definitely not.
He immediately shifted to the solution. The good news. He called it the visitor.
Yes. You have a visitor. And this isn't just like a nice thought. He made it sound incredibly immediate, personal, happening now. How does someone stuck in their dungeon even recognize that visit?
That's such a good point. Because it might not be a booming voice from heaven, right? Pastor Florin stressed that even just hearing this kind of message, like literally hearing his voice during the sermon or even listening to us talk about it now, he said, the very fact that you hear the sound of my voice right now, it's proof that Jesus has come by you. It's recognizing that nudge, that invitation, that presence, however subtle it feels.
So God hasn't abandoned us in the dungeon. He's actually come to us.
Exactly. God has come to his people in the person of Jesus. Jesus is visiting you today. It's not just a Christmas story. It's a present reality. And crucially, this visitor isn't just popping in to say hi.
Right, he's there to do something.
He's there negotiating your release
Mm.
from those lowest dungeons of our existence. That's a powerful image. He's actively working to get you out.
Okay, negotiating release. That sounds amazing. But then there was that qualifier. The release is secured if you go with him.
Yeah.
And it's a release in his custody. What does that mean? Does that mean it's not really freedom? Because stipulations can sound like just trading one prison for another, maybe with different rules.
That's a really common way to hear it, and it's such an important clarification Pastor Florin made. He was crystal clear. You're not being released so you can go back and do the same things that landed you in prison.
Okay, so it's not a free pass to keep messing up.
Not at all. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card to just resume the old destructive patterns. He said, it's a release with stipulations, but then he asked, what kind of release is it?
And the answer was?
It's a release that teaches true freedom and habits that bring life. That's the core of this whole apprenticeship idea we're circling back to.
Okay. So the stipulations aren't restrictions for restriction's sake. They're the curriculum.
Precisely. They're the pathway to real freedom. Learning a new way to live, a way that actually works, that brings flourishing, instead of the old way that led back to bondage. It's like learning the trade of freedom from the master carpenter himself.
I love that. Learning the trade of freedom. Okay, so let's get practical then. These terms of release, rooted in trust, as the sermon said. This is the practice part of the apprenticeship, the actual how-to.
Exactly. And Pastor Florin laid out basically 4 key steps, like lessons in the workshop. First, face your dungeon and speak with him.
Okay, honesty first.
Yep. Brutal honesty with yourself. Take inventory of your spiritual reality. But then crucially, don't just wallow in it. Speak with Jesus, the visitor.
How? Does it have to be formal prayer?
No, he made it super accessible, either silently in your mind or out loud in your room or on a walk. It's just starting the conversation, turning that internal monologue, which can be so negative, into a dialogue with the one who can actually help. That's step 1 in the relationship.
Okay. Face it, speak to him. What's next?
Second, repent. Turn away from the old ways. And repent here isn't just feeling guilty.
Right, it's more active than that.
Way more active. It's a decisive turn. Turn from your old harmful ways. And he connected this directly to the pressures young people feel today.
Yeah, the trends.
Exactly. He said, not everything that trends in your community is helpful to you. He warned, what may be acceptable in your society can lead to death. Spiritually speaking, relationally speaking.
Wow. So it's about discernment.
Huge discernment. Recognizing that some popular habits, some accepted ways of thinking or living actually go against who I am, Jesus, and the harmony I established. It's about choosing life, even if it means going against the flow.
Being countercultural in a life-giving way.
Okay.
Third step.
Third is the ongoing part. Follow me, learn my ways. This is the heart of the apprenticeship, actively learning and living out this new way.
And it requires commitment, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that.
Yeah. Real dedication. Not only when it's convenient, he said, but even when you don't fully understand the path, even when you're happy, it's consistent. And how do we learn his ways? This was so practical.
What did he say?
He said, learn what I said and did not say, meaning don't just rely on out-of-context media clips or what other people tell you Jesus said. Go to the source.
Okay, dig deeper than soundbite.
Exactly. And also, learn what I did and did not do, because many will try to deceive you. It's about understanding the character and actions of Jesus, not just cherry-picked quotes. It's a blueprint for navigating all the noise and misinformation out there, learning how to discern truth.
That's incredibly relevant today. Okay, fourth step.
Finally, it's not just about you. Step 4, tell others.
Share the hope.
Yeah. Many people you know are also in bondage. Tell them about me. And this isn't just about preaching at people, it's words and actions.
How so?
He said, speak hope, speak life, speak words of warning. Use your words constructively, but maybe even more powerfully. Lifestyle matters. You are my representatives.
Living it out.
Living it out. He posed that really sharp challenge. If there's no distinction between how you live and how those who reject me live, how can you be my representative? It means the apprenticeship should actually change how we look, how we act, how we treat people. We become the walking, talking evidence of this new way.
Wow. Okay, so pulling it all together, what Pastor Florin described isn't just, signing up for a belief system.
Not at all.
It's a total life reorientation.
Yeah.
It really is an apprenticeship with Jesus as the master craftsman showing us step by step how to build a life that's actually free, purposeful.
That's it. Learning by doing, by turning, by following consistently. It's a journey, not a one-time event.
A lifelong transformation.
Exactly. This whole deep dive into Jesus as the Son of David, it's not just interesting theology. It's this deeply practical, profound invitation to apprentice under him.
To walk that path he talked about, from the shadow of death to the path of peace.
Yeah, where chaos and rage get replaced by order, well-being, harmony,
Yeah.
real shalom at all levels. It's hope made practical, hope for a genuinely changed life.
So as we wrap up, here's something to really chew on, something provocative to take with you. If this apprenticeship requires us to actively turn away from some things our culture pushes and to learn his ways, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular, what's maybe one specific habit or one common soundbite or assumption in your own life that Jesus might be inviting you to reconsider right now as part of learning this new way of life under him?
That's a good question to sit with.
Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope you'll take some time to reflect on Pastor Florin's message and maybe explore these ideas a bit more in your own apprenticeship.
Yeah, keep digging.
We'll catch you next time for another deep dive.